Hello from Topeka. I'm Marley Carpenter, your KSCPA lobbyist. The legislature left for a 2-week spring break on Friday, officially adjourning the regular part of the 2023 legislative session. They broke just before 4:30 a.m. on Friday morning. Lawmakers had a very busy week of conference committees and floor debate, but left several larger items for veto session, including education funding and tax policy. The key to first adjournment was passage of the main budget bill. When legislators return for wrap-up session on April 26th, they will receive the April Consensus Revenue Estimating Group's new revenue projections so that they can make any adjustments in the omnibus or final budget at that time. Despite what was left for veto session, a few big pieces of legislation were approved and are headed to the governor for her consideration. After several rounds of negotiations and assembling tax packages, the House and Senate Tax Conference Committee finally agreed on 3 bundles that each included a handful of tax policy provisions considered throughout the session. Senate Bill 169 passed both the House and the Senate before first adjournment and is headed to Governor Kelly's desk for her consideration. The bill specifically replaces the individual income tax bracket with a single rate of 5.15%, reduces the corporate rate and privilege taxes, and discontinues the corporate rate reduction required by the Apex bill, expands the exemption on Social Security income, increases the annual standard deduction by a cost of living adjustment, accelerates the elimination of the state portion of sales tax on food, and increases the amount of the appraised value of residential property exempt from the statewide 20 mills of school finance to $60,000. This bill will be headed to the governor for her consideration. The other 2 tax bills only cleared one chamber and will be considered during veto session. House Bill 2002 is awaiting a vote in the House, but did pass the Senate. The bill creates an exemption for the statewide Kansas Suicide Prevention Act, creates a tax exemption for the Area Network Agency on Aging, provides county sales tax authority for Grant and Dickinson County, authorizes the county treasurers to electronically deliver property tax documents upon consent of the taxpayer, grants the Director of Property Tax Valuations authority to develop qualifying coursers for county appraisers, and requires the filing release of tax warrants in counties where the warrant is docketed after payment of taxes owed. The final bill, Senate Bill 8, did pass the House but is awaiting a vote in the Senate. This bill does contain 18 additional tax items that were considered this year. Senate Bill 8 does include the clarifications to the SALT Parity Act requested by the Kansas Society of CPAs. In addition, the tax bill limits the instance in which taxpayers must file property tax renditions and reduces or waives penalties for late filing. The bill amends the law regarding the revenue neutral rate notification in appeals and payment under protest. The bill also freezes property tax for low-income seniors and veterans, makes changes to the net operating loss in determining the gross income, and makes changes to the Homestead Property Tax Refund Act, as well as many other provisions. A link to the bill is included in the report. The legislature also sent Senate Bill 123 to the governor and contains several key education and workforce provisions, specifically an adult learner grant, as well as a workforce retention and incentive income tax credit. On the economic development front, several economic development bills are making their way to the governor's desk as well. The Star Bonds Food Sales Tax Replacement Fund was included in the budget bill, as well as 2 additional Star Bonds provisions, which authorizes the renovation and construction costs for historic theaters and expands the cap for rural projects. The Apprenticeship Tax Credit Program, which is House Bill 2292, also passed both the House and the Senate and is headed to the governor. This bill establishes a tax credit and grant incentive program for apprenticeships and creates a matching grant within the Department of Commerce. House Bill 2234 contains a film tax credit incentive to promote the growth of the film and digital media production in Kansas. The conference committee report was passed by the Senate, but needs to be acted upon by the House during veto session. Finally, Senate Bill 17 did pass both the House and Senate and is headed to the governor. The bill does update housing provisions and allows some of the rural housing programs to be used in urban settings. We will keep you updated on these measures as well as many others during legislative veto session and update you on which bills are signed or vetoed by the governor. Please let myself or Danielle know if you have any questions, and we'll talk to you during veto session.